welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm Lee, and it's great that you take the time to join me on today's little adventure. And what will that adventure be? Well, a computer, of course. Here's one that I just recently took delivery on. Many of you out there, I'm sure, recognize this white plastic case. This is an iBook G4. Apple, of course, introduced the iBook line beginning with the famous clamshell, which has been seen on the channel a little bit here. They replaced the clamshell with this. At first with later iterations of the iBook G3, continued through the G4, and actually after the Intel conversion, the MacBooks, not the MacBook Pros, but the MacBooks continued with the same case. So to look at this quickly, it would be a little difficult to tell, do I have a MacBook or an iBook? But this is an iBook. It is a mid-2005, assuming everything that was in the advertisement was accurate. It is a mid-2005 iBook G4. It's supposed to be a 1.42 gigahertz, which is quite a powerful G4. And interesting to me, of course, this is one of a number of PowerPC machines that Apple introduced even after the announcement of the Intel conversion. Yes, the PowerPC machines had been in the pipeline, perhaps already in production in some cases. So they went ahead. And of course, we see them doing that to this very day. There's still, I think we're probably about done with it, but we have seen a number of Intel iMacs get introduced. All right, taking a quick look at this. Nothing really to see on the back except for some ventilation. All of the I/O is on the side. Yes, the day when Apple laptops actually had ports. All right, there's a Kensington lock slot. That's the phone jack for the internal modem. Ethernet. One FireWire 400 port. Two USB ports, and being 2005, this should be USB 2. And oh yes, that is a mini VGA, so you could attach an external monitor if you had the correct cable. Somewhere around here I've got a mini VGA adapter and headphone jack. All right, and on the other side, all we've got there, slot loading optical drive and the power jack. Okay. Computer, much like the PowerBooks of the era, had a latch. Opens up pretty easily. And this is in very good shape. The hinges seem very strong. Very good to see that. And while you can see there is some wear on the keyboard, this is very clean. So the seller, I think, did very, very nicely in cleaning this up before sending it to me. Trackpad, of course. Much like the PowerBook G3s, this keyboard simply comes off. You've got a screw there that can turn. You can lift the keyboard off and access the internals, at least to some extent. I have never been inside one of these. I suppose I probably will fairly soon. I did have one of these back in the day, and it was not destroyed in the fire. Rather, before the fire even took place, I gave it away. A young woman had called our church. She'd been living in battered women's centers with her child, and basically moving from center to center. She could only stay long enough for a certain set period of time in any one center. So she would go from one to another. Finally, Health and Human Services had arranged for her to get an apartment down in Bridgeport, and we had to move her from Meriden down to Bridgeport. The interim rector at the church asked me, because I was newly retired. We drove her down, and she rode in my car with me, and we talked quite a bit. And one of the things that occurred to me, that as she's trying to establish herself, find a job, having a computer would be worthwhile. I didn't use this at all. In fact, I had originally bought it on the impression it was an iBook G3. I was looking for a laptop that would boot into OS 9, which this doesn't do. So I set it up, new installation of Tiger, put some apps on it for her, and gave her the computer. Now, what's become of it? I have no idea. I've lost track there. All right. There is a battery on it. There's no sign of swelling. However, it does not hold a charge. So we're going to have to go plug this in and then see what we discover once it's up and running. So if you're interested in finding that out, please stay tuned. Okay, this is probably about as good as we're going to get the tripod. Let's start it up. Whoa. A fan jumps into life and then shuts down very quickly. And a good solid chime. Okay. We have video. Screen is maybe a little dim. I don't know. Right? Oh, well, you look at this. Somebody actually did this right. You know, I've just gotten so used to buying used computers and finding people just leaving stuff on them. So, yeah, I mean, the seller obviously cleaned up the computer very nicely for me, which is great. And reinstalled the OS. All right, so we can just go ahead and set it up. Welcome video. Yep. Oh, Lordy. Never gets tired. Boy, I sure wish they would bring back welcome videos. All right. Okay. There's the cursor. We're in the U.S. We will not transfer any information, particularly since I'll probably be reinstalling it anyway. We'll see once we get it up and running. Ah! We have Wi-Fi. That's a nice thing. Okay. If it actually connects. We'll see if it does. All right. You know, I don't know why I bother. It's not going to be able to... So we'll just continue. All right, pro tip here. Because I see a lot of videos where people are diligently filling in all of this information for an operating system that came out 16 years ago. I don't think Apple cares. If you hit Command Q, you will get the option to skip the registration. All right. Okay. I'm having trouble typing here. Keyboard's really very nice, but you're in the way. That always happens to me. Okay. Select the time zone. Okay, Boston's close enough, I guess. Philadelphia would have been close enough. All right. $5/25, 2005. How about that? And I can't seem to set anything. Okay. Yeah. I'm stuck. Oh well. I'll figure that out later. That's weird. Okay, and don't forget to register, and we should get to the desktop. Well, we should get to the desktop. Very slowly. Boy, this is slow. And there's the dock finally. Okay. And we're beach balling. All right. Go away. Okay. To about this Mac. 512 megabytes of memory. Therein lies our problem. Tiger will run on 512 megabytes. It just won't run very, very well. We do seem to have Wi-Fi. That's something. Okay. Let's dig into this a little bit more. System profiler. All right. Okay. Check out the disk burning. Okay, it reads DVDs, writes CDs. Fine. Boy, this is slow. Okay, so ATI Mobility Radeon 9550, that of course is the mobile ATI version, 32 megabytes of video RAM, which is sufficient to make the thing work. All right. Okay, so there's 512 built in, and there's an empty slot, so we will be able to upgrade the RAM, and that we definitely have to do. Okay, back here in ATA. All right, this is our hard drive. Yeah, 80 gig hard drive, which is normal. Again, I've never been inside one of these. I don't know how much of a problem upgrading the internal storage is going to be. We will check on that. But yeah, memory we just absolutely have to. Okay. Checking our airport card. Well, we're logged in. Okay. Now let's try running software update and see if well, it's contacting the server. So yeah, Wi-Fi is working because I did not plug in Ethernet, although it would be faster on Ethernet. Okay, so I'm going to have to do all kinds of software updates, you know, to bring this up to 10.4.11 and all of those Java updates. So I shall do that, and then we'll come back with some thoughts about the machine. Stay tuned. Well, that's interesting. I should have looked more carefully, of course, when you may have noticed when I pulled up about this Mac. It's already at 10.4.11, so they're really, the updates have all been done. So I guess when the OS was reinstalled, the guy did all of the software updates and then just set it to let me set up as a new user, which is certainly possible. Okay, so I did a little looking at this point. The iBook G4 will accept a maximum of 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. The 512 is soldered onto the logic board. There is an expansion RAM slot that's very easy to access. We can certainly do that. Hard drive looks like a pain. I looked over the iFixit directions for that. Doable. I'm not sure whether I'm going to or not. But anyhow, I certainly will do the RAM because that is easy. An 80 gig hard drive, I suppose I can partition it, maybe try to make Tiger live on 20 gig and then 60 for Leopard. That's probably going to be enough. We shall have to see. All right, so yeah, there'll be something more coming up with this machine, I'm sure. And it's a beautiful machine. With another gig of RAM, I'm sure the slowness that we've been seeing will fade away. So yes, lovely little thing. All right, so yeah, I'm sure we'll get one more video from this. In any event, be good to other people. Other people need it and deserve it. Be good to yourselves. We can make the world a better place. It is not yet, so please take very, very good and careful care in these difficult times. So yeah, one more video on this. I've got a whole series of things on Power Mac G4s yet to come up. Some Mac Pro material that'll be here on the channel. So until all of those things make their way to being available, this has been Broken Electronics.